of this first between Bangladesh and Zimbabwe, we see that Bangladesh has taken this first game and were fairly comfortable. And no, but you couldn't go away without mentioning the 100 that Imran Kais scored. I mean, it showed a lot of patience, a lot of maturity, especially from the position that Bangladesh was in. I mean, at one stage, Bangladesh was 135, about 134, 135, for six. And to guide the Bangladesh innings from such a position to then post 272 was, something that was commendable to him. And the young batsman at the tail, there was a huge partnership as well. That has got to be mentioned. So that was really great to see, Bangladesh, pulling a situation from where they were. And Zimbabwe started off well, got early wickets and put Bangladesh under pressure. But from that position, Zimbabwe just failed, to put the nail on the coffin and just to be ruthless, really. So that's why, that's how Bangladesh ended up getting to the position that they got to. And in reply, again, Zimbabwe started off well. It was interesting to see Joao, striking the ball cleanly, as he has done several times. And from there, but Zimbabwe never got to see good feet again. Unfortunately, it was another situation similar to the field, the time they fielded, where got early wickets and then failed to go on and put the nail on the coffin. So it went the same way with the batting. A good start, very good 7-8 overs to start off with. But after that, they struggled to get, singles. They struggled to get boundaries. And credit goes to the Bangladesh bowlers who, I mean, time after time again, they seem to be able to know their conditions very well and take advantage of home conditions. And there were a lot of dot balls and, Zimbabwe failing to rotate the strike. But overall, the fielding from the Zimbabwe side was good, and the fielding again from the Bangladeshi side was good, and it was really nice cricket to watch. So the Mipu wicket was a little bit difficult. It seemed as if the wicket was a little bit double-paced. Well, when it's double-paced, it's very difficult, for a batsman who likes to play attacking cricket to go on and attack. And even for one who likes to tap the ball around, it can be fairly difficult. But Imran Kais, really adapted to the conditions and knew that he didn't have to start playing big shots early on. And he controlled his innings well, and he rotated the strike nicely. And when he got support low down the order from Young, obviously, starting from Mithun, and then the Young Saif. So that then carried Bangladesh through that difficult period. And I reckon from that position, if I'm to take the flip side and see how Zimbabwe could have done things differently from that position, I reckon the captain should have, put his strike bowlers to try and take a couple of wickets. And I put a lot of pressure on the Bangladesh batsmen so that they don't carry on and just knock it around like they did. So in all, it was a great cricket game. But the Bangladeshi crowd once again came and watched in numbers, and it was interesting to see. You know, you could almost feel you wanted to be there because of the atmosphere that you could watch on TV. So good day of cricket, but unfortunately Zimbabwe went down once again. I mean, it has been a long period since Zimbabwe cricket has won a game in Bangladesh. I think the last game Zimbabwe won in Bangladesh against Bangladesh is in 2010. So this would have been a good opportunity for Zimbabwe to turn the fortunes around and win, so that they start winning again in Bangladesh, like Zimbabwe used to do in the days gone by. So going back to the drawing board, the coach, the captain, the coaching team will have some work cut out. Go back to the drawing board and see what they'll have to do to turn the fortunes for the next game, and have a bit more of a plan, I reckon, for the batsmen, as opposed to maybe looking for the boundary shot and then have really nothing in between. So so there will be some boundaries and some dot balls instead of a situation where there are some boundaries, but also mixed up with some singles and some twos, so that the board, the scoreboard keeps ticking on. The Bangladeshi players in the middle period, when they were struggling, managed to do that well. Took a few calculated risks, but kept the scoreboard ticking in getting goals. Now, whether that is because the Zimbabwe cricket bowlers did not apply that much pressure more than the Bangladesh bowlers did, is something that we could argue about. Or it was that the Bangladesh batsmen, simply managed to find a way on how to keep the scoreboard ticking. So when the coaching staff and the captain go back to the drawing board, I think it's more looking for a set plan of how to rotate the strike, especially against the spinners. And yes, Mustafazu is a very, very good bowler. He's a world-renowned bowler and a world-class bowler. However, I felt that a lot of the balls that he bowled were missed completely. So you'll never be able to score if you're missing the ball completely. You've got to at least have bat on ball. Now, if we were to pick up a few positives from the Zimbabwe batting lineup, Sean Williams did not actually miss many balls. At least he made contact when he actually played. So from there, you can build up from that, because from maybe failing to hit through the infield or over the infield, you can then resort to maybe dropping the ball and running. But you can only do that if you are making contact with the ball. So that will be one that I think Zimbabwe should be working on. The second thing that I think Zimbabwe should be going back to the drawing board to work on is making sure that the right person or the right bowler comes in to bowl when a situation is in the way it was when Bangladesh was 136 for 6. Surely there should have been someone, a certain bowler, that would have asked for the ball or say, "Captain, give me the ball. I want to finish this game now." And that's a little thing that has to be looked at. And the other thing that can be looked at is maybe Chatara. Chatara is a very good bowler at the depth. However, the way he was missing the mark today was a little bit of a concern, because he bowled several full tosses, and that then forced the captain to then bring Jarvis to bowl the death, because Jarvis normally doesn't bowl the death. If it's the choice, it's normally between Chatara and Donald Tiripano. But Jarvis had to be forced to come back and bowl at the death. And from the position that Jarvis had created, I think the other bowlers should have backed him up because he bowled really well. I think he was the standout bowler for Zimbabwe. He gave nothing away. I think at one stage when he had bowled about 7 overs, I think he had gone for about 18 runs. So meaning that he gave nothing away. For a new ball bowler who bowls in the power play, I think that's very commendable. Apart from that, the fielding was great from both sides. Obviously, Mushfika is the only one that dropped a chance, which was very rare. It's very rare to see Mushi. He's a class act, a very good keeper. But unfortunately, he just missed out. Missed out on one. That's really the only sort of negative, and a couple of misfields, which you always get in any cricket game. So, well, on some of the changes that the team have made, we know that Mire normally opens the batting with Hamutoza, and so with Mire not available, because he's been going through a bad patch. And the bad patch came soon after he had really played well against Pakistan, and then he got injured, and then coming back, it's always difficult especially at international level, to come back after an injury or after a bit of an absence. And when he got back, he then struggled to find his feet against South Africa, and he had a real bad series in South Africa, and therefore, he could not be included. The other person, the other change that was made was Elton Chigumbura. Now, Elton Chigumbura has struggled for a while, and he scored some runs in the warm-up game, but he has been struggling a bit ever since. He's been struggling for a bit. I don't remember the last time he scored something significant. So that becomes a bit of a catch-22 for any selector if he's expected to come in and finish an innings, and especially coming at the position that he comes in to bat. He is coming into bat number 6, 7. Really, number 7 is when he's coming into bat, and he doesn't bowl anymore. So to come in the team purely as a batsman at number 7 is a little bit difficult for any any selector to really consider. So those are the changes that Zimbabwe has made. The other change is the spinner, the left arm spinner, Chisoro, who it looks like has been replaced by young Brandon Mavuta, which then gives the team 3 spinners. So there will be Brandon Mavuta, there will be Sean Williams, and there will be Sikandar Raza, which gives the captain a lot of spin options, because one is an off spinner, one is a left arm spinner, orthodox spinner, and the other one is a leg spinner. Then you've got the other seamers to balance out the situation. So that is the situation at the moment with the selection. I think the partnership between Kays and Saifuddin was probably the game changer for Bangladesh. If it wasn't for that partnership, I reckon Bangladesh would have been in serious trouble. And would have the final score wouldn't have been 270. For that wicket, 270 was a huge task. Was a huge ask for any betting team that's betting second. But I reckon 230 or 230 to 240 would have been par on that particular wicket. So that was my take on this game. If there are any questions, anyone, feel free to throw in your questions. I'll be very glad to answer any questions that will come along. I think I have answered one question that I have just seen now. Any other questions? I'll be very happy and glad to answer any. Let me just run through a little bit of the comments to see if I can find any questions that may be asked. Right. I do not see any more questions. I think we will. Okay, there's one comment just now. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate. I always love Bangladesh myself. I always, I call Asia my second home because I know that I'm appreciated in Bangladesh. And every time I go to Bangladesh, I always tell people that I have Asian blood because I think I have been accepted in Asia as one of your own. So thank you very much, Kanunbai. I really appreciate that. Thanks. Shujo Dash, thank you very much. How are you doing? Well, the team and Raj has just asked a question about the team right now. Well, it's in general, Zimbabwe cricket team or the Zimbabwe cricket team has been struggling, and we all know that, and people around the world know that. So I hope there comes a time when the whole the whole country comes back to where it used to be. Not only the country, but also the cricket organization, because a lot of things have changed, unfortunately. But we can always be hopeful to see a Zimbabwe that people once saw. So hopefully, Raj, some time to come, it will be like that. There was one time Bangladesh didn't play the way they're playing now, and over some years, maybe 10, 15 years, things have changed. So we're hoping that it will be like that also for Zimbabwe sometime. Thanks for asking. Well, my expectation for there's another question that I just been asked here. My expectations for for Zimbabwe. Um, Look, unfortunately, from what I have just watched, I mean, I've played cricket for many years, and I know when someone has got a plan and that plan has not worked, and someone who's betting without a plan. Now, those are two major different things. So, it looks like most of the batsmen did not have a set plan. Or when I talk about a set plan, is you know how you're going to score against particular bowlers. And if the way you're formulated in your mind fails, you have a plan B of how you're going to score. So when you get to the crease and option one fails, and then option two, you then go back to option two, and then your option two should never fail, because when option two fails, then you're done and dusted. So from what I saw, there were just very few batsmen that looked like, maybe they had, I don't know, but there are very few batsmen that looked like they had a set plan to know that with this bowler, I'm going to play it this way. With this bowler, I'm going to play it this way. This is how I'm going to score. This is how I'm going to get my singles. This is how I'm going to, push my twos. This is how I'm going to put this bowler under pressure. Now, that's on the batting. On the bowling, I think it looked like there was a set plan, but there was just poor execution from most of the bowlers. Bar Jarvis. Jarvis was the only one that looked like his execution was right today. I could even see the body language of Brandon that he struggled a bit, just to motivate. He's young, so it's easy to, to read through him. So, so that's what Zimbabwe needs to look at. With the batsmen, they need to look at having a set plan that works and then executing that set plan. That's what they need to do for me to have any expectations of them to pull the second game and the third game and to go in the test matches in a strong position. And that normally, the base of it can be done or can be formulated in the nets, but most of it actually has got to be transferred in the middle, because in the middle is where you gain your confidence, is when I believe you practice, you get your best practice is in the game, because there's that intensity, there's that pressure. In the nets, you don't really have those things, so you only work on the basic, and when the basic is done, then you have to carry that confidence in the matches. So I expect the batsmen to come back with a set plan and execute their plans, because every batsman plays differently. And then the bowlers, I expect the bowlers to execute their plans better than they did. And one more thing that may be for the coach to look at is, or the coach and the captain to look at, is to maybe bring Sean Williams up the order. He looks, of all the batsmen that I watched today, he looked the one that was more set and making good, contact from the bat. So maybe look at changing the batting order slightly. So apart from that, I can't see any other things that I can expect to happen, in the next 2 days before the Chittagong second ODI between Bangladesh and Zimbabwe. Let me have a look at a few more questions that have come. Okay. Thanks, Iman. Iman says that he's missing me from the international scene. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate. All right. Well, what should be the other questions? Someone is asking me not about this game. Well, says, well, I'll just answer it anyway. Yes, it's the right account. Look, I don't play games. I'm not I'm not big on social media, but I do not play games. That is the real me. If it's a picture of my family, me and my family, yes, that's definitely me. But um, yeah, what should be the strategy for Zimbabwe in the next game? The, you see, I think it's not so much of the strategy for the next game because um, the strategy the strategy comes after you read the wicket. So they haven't gone to Chittagong to have a look at the wicket, so they can't have a strategy. You know, I always believe that you have a look at the wicket, and then you pick your team after you've had a look at the wicket, and because the team comes from the strategy that you are bringing. So you have a look at the wicket, you then formulate a strategy, and then you then pick a team. So it would be very difficult to say Zimbabwe should have a strategy like this, like that, because they haven't had a look at the team. So um, uh, Tamzid, that's the answer to your question. And Imon Bai asks where I am. I am in the UK. I now live in the UK. I moved with my family here, and I've been here for almost 3 years. So I am in the UK. I'm not in Zimbabwe anymore. All right. I'll answer one more question before I go. Obviously, not that question. I won't. I won't answer that question. That's just um, yeah, it's just someone asking me how I'm doing. So that one won't count. But to answer your question, I'm doing well, thank you. I'm happy and healthy, and um, and that's most important in life, isn't it? Okay. How about Taibu? You play any roles in the Zimbabwe cricket team? Not at the moment. I last played a role in the Zimbabwe cricket team in March when I was selected, but not anymore. I'm no longer playing any role in Zimbabwe cricket. Um, So that answers your question. I think it would be unfair if I leave it there. There's one more question. How about promote Brendan Mavuta up the betting order? That bloke looks fluent and talented to me. That's what's your thought about him, mate? When I was selector, he was part of my Rising Stars Academy, which I selected players to come over to the UK to play cricket for 6 months, and he was one of the players that I picked up because I felt that he is a talented player and I could teach him certain aspects of cricket, which I believe I did. And now it's really up to him to put those things into practice. And and he has shown a lot of positivity, even when he's bowling and then he's batting, when a situation is down, up, indifferent. And that's what I taught them, is to be positive always, and never to back down, and never to give up. And I hear what you are saying about him coming up the order, because he looked positive. But he's not a batsman. The same positivity must be shown by the guys that are picked up to bat, that are selected to bat for the team. And he should go in and bowl and take wickets as a bowler. And when required to bat, yes, he can hit a ball, and yes, he can bat a bit. But every person has got their role, and that positivity must be put into practice by the batsmen that are picked or selected to bat. Let me see this comment. I've already, Mahmoud Bai, I've already answered that question. I'm in UK. Someone asked a question earlier. I am in UK. And Moonbai has asked how old I am. Maybe I should throw back the question to you and ask you how old you think I am. But I am 35. I do continue with my fitness. I am probably as fit as I've always been, even in my playing days. I still continue with my fitness, and I keep smiling, and that keeps me young. But yeah, to answer your question, I am 35. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you a lot for joining me up for the analysis after this first ODI between Bangladesh and Zimbabwe. Join me again with Crick Frenzy for the second ODI in Chittagong in 3 days to come. And I wish to see you all there, and let's hope we'll get another good game on our shoulders. Thank you very much, and have a good night, everyone. Bye.